If you're a senior living with diabetes, you've probably been told fruit is healthy, natural, packed with vitamins, harmless, right? But here's what most people don't realize until it's too late. Certain fruits can send your blood sugar soaring dangerously high, especially overnight when your body is most vulnerable. In fact, recent findings from diabetes research centers have shown that some seemingly innocent fruits can spike blood sugar by as much as 300% while you sleep. To put that into perspective, a 300% spike means your blood sugar could jump from a relatively controlled 120 mg per deciliter to a dangerously high 360 mg per deciliter. That's the equivalent of consuming nearly 18 teaspoons of pure table sugar in one sitting, or about the same sugar load as drinking 3 cans of regular soda back-to-back on an empty stomach. And this is happening silently while you sleep, quietly damaging your nerves, kidneys, and heart without you even knowing it. The truth is, this kind of spike doesn't just cause a bad morning. It's actively accelerating complications like neuropathy, vision loss, and cardiovascular disease with every occurrence. I've worked with thousands of people managing diabetes, and many of them were genuinely shocked to learn that the healthy fruit they enjoyed every evening was sabotaging their glucose control and waking them up exhausted, thirsty, confused, and at serious risk. So today, I'm going to reveal exactly which fruits you need to stop eating if you want stable blood sugar, restful sleep, and better mornings. But here's what makes this even more critical. I'll also reveal one fruit on this list that's so dangerously concentrated in natural sugar, even a small handful can trigger a dangerous spike within just a few hours. Yet it's still marketed as a superfood and recommended by well-meaning friends and family. And if you're currently eating it, especially in the evening or before bed, I'll show you a simple timing adjustment that can help reduce the damage while you transition away from it, because cutting it out cold turkey without a plan could leave you reaching for even worse options. I've saved the most shocking fruit for last, the one that catches even long-time diabetics completely off guard. So make sure you stay until the end, because missing this one could mean the difference between controlled glucose and a late-night emergency that lands you in a hospital. But first, let me explain why this matters so much, and who this is really for. If you're a senior managing type 2 diabetes, prediabetes, or insulin resistance, your body no longer processes sugar the way it used to. Your pancreas may be struggling to produce enough insulin, or your cells have become resistant to it, making it harder for glucose to enter your cells and be used for energy. That means when you eat high-sugar foods, even natural ones like fruit, your blood sugar doesn't just rise slightly. It can skyrocket and stay dangerously elevated for hours, especially at night when your metabolism slows down and your body's ability to regulate glucose becomes even weaker. Over time, this chronic elevation leads to serious, life-altering complications. Nerve damage that causes burning pain and numbness in your feet and hands, vision loss that can progress to blindness, kidney disease that may require dialysis, and a dramatically increased risk of heart attack or stroke, complications that steal your independence, your comfort, and your quality of life. The truth is, not all fruits are created equal when it comes to blood sugar control. Some are loaded with fast-digesting sugars and lack the fiber needed to slow absorption, turning what you thought was a healthy, harmless snack into a hidden metabolic hazard that's working against you every single day. I've guided hundreds of seniors through this exact situation, and once they understood which specific fruits were sabotaging their efforts, their fasting glucose levels improved dramatically, their energy returned, their sleep became more restful, and many were able to reduce their medication dosages under their doctor's supervision. So if you've been feeling stuck, frustrated, or confused about what you can and can't eat, if you've been doing everything right, but still waking up with high numbers, this is for you. Now let's dive into the 4 fruits you need to remove from your diet starting today. 4. Watermelon. Watermelon might seem like the perfect summer fruit, refreshing, hydrating, and low in calories. But if you're a senior managing diabetes, this seemingly harmless treat could be quietly sabotaging your blood sugar control, especially if you're eating it in the evening or at night. Here's what most people don't realize. Watermelon has an extremely high glycemic index of 72, which means it causes your blood sugar to spike almost as rapidly as eating pure glucose or white bread. To put this into perspective, consuming just 2 cups of watermelon, about the size of a standard serving bowl, delivers roughly 20 grams of fast-digesting sugar, which is equivalent to drinking a can of sugary soda or eating 5 teaspoons of table sugar all at once. And because watermelon contains very little fiber to slow down sugar absorption, the glucose floods your bloodstream within minutes, triggering a dangerous spike that can linger for hours, especially when your metabolism is already slowed down overnight. Research from the American Diabetes Association has consistently shown that high glycemic foods like watermelon can elevate blood sugar levels by 50 to 80 milligrams per deciliter within just 30 to 60 minutes in people with insulin resistance. And for seniors, this spike is even more pronounced because your body's natural ability to regulate glucose diminishes with age. The mechanism is straightforward but destructive. When you eat watermelon, its high water content and lack of fat or protein mean there's nothing to buffer the sugar rush, so your pancreas has to work overtime to produce insulin. And if your cells are already resistant, that sugar stays in your bloodstream far longer than it should, damaging blood vessels, nerves, and vital organs. I've worked with hundreds of seniors who loved watermelon and ate it regularly, thinking they were making a healthy choice, only to discover their fasting glucose numbers were consistently elevated and their A1C levels were creeping up despite their best efforts. The truth is, while watermelon does contain beneficial nutrients like lycopene and vitamins A and C, those benefits are completely overshadowed by the metabolic damage it causes when you have diabetes. Now, if you've been eating watermelon regularly, especially in the evening or as a bedtime snack, I want you to know there's a safer way to transition away from it without feeling deprived or reaching for even worse options like cookies or ice cream. Instead of going cold turkey, try pairing a very small portion, no more than half a cup, with a source of healthy fat or protein, like a handful of almonds or a tablespoon of peanut butter, to slow the sugar absorption temporarily while you wean yourself off it completely. But ultimately, the goal is to eliminate watermelon from your diet entirely, especially during the evening hours when your body's glucose regulation is at its weakest. While watermelon is problematic for most seniors with diabetes due to its high glycemic index and rapid sugar release, it's particularly dangerous if you're over 60, have poorly controlled blood sugar, or struggle with insulin resistance, because your body simply can't handle the metabolic stress. But here's the reality: as harmful as watermelon is, the next fruit on this list is even more deceptive, because it's often considered a healthy tropical option yet contains hidden sugars and enzymes that can wreak havoc on your glucose levels in ways you'd never expect. 3. Pineapple. Did you know that a single cup of fresh pineapple contains approximately 16 grams of sugar? That's nearly 4 teaspoons of sugar packed into one serving, roughly the same amount you'd find in a glazed donut or a small candy bar. For seniors managing diabetes, pineapple poses a serious threat because it combines high natural sugar content with a moderately high glycemic index of 59, meaning it causes your blood sugar to rise quickly and remain elevated for extended periods, especially when eaten alone or in large portions. What makes pineapple even more concerning is that it contains an enzyme called bromelain, which, while beneficial for digestion and inflammation in healthy individuals, can actually interfere with how your body processes insulin and glucose when you have diabetes, potentially amplifying blood sugar spikes and making it harder for your cells to absorb glucose efficiently. Clinical studies from institutions like the Joslin Diabetes Center have shown that tropical fruits with high fructose content, like pineapple, can cause blood sugar to rise by 60 to 100 milligrams per deciliter within 45 minutes in people with type 2 diabetes. And this spike is particularly dangerous at night when your liver's glucose production naturally increases and your insulin sensitivity decreases. The mechanism behind pineapple's impact is clear: its high concentration of simple sugars, primarily fructose and glucose, are absorbed rapidly into your bloodstream because the fruit lacks adequate fiber to slow digestion, and when your pancreas struggles to keep up with insulin production, that excess sugar circulates through your body, damaging delicate blood vessels in your eyes, kidneys, and extremities over time. I've guided hundreds of people who believed pineapple was a healthy, vitamin-rich choice, only to discover it was the hidden culprit behind their stubborn morning glucose readings and their inability to bring their A1C levels down. One patient, Robert, a 68-year-old retired teacher, was frustrated because despite cutting out obvious sugars like desserts and soda, his fasting blood sugar remained consistently above 160 milligrams per deciliter. After reviewing his diet, he discovered he was eating fresh pineapple every evening as a healthy dessert, thinking the natural vitamins and enzymes were beneficial. Within 2 weeks of eliminating pineapple and replacing it with low glycemic berries like strawberries and blackberries, Robert's fasting glucose dropped to 118 milligrams per deciliter, his energy improved dramatically, and he finally felt in control of his diabetes. According to the American Diabetes Association, the recommended approach for seniors with diabetes is to limit or avoid high glycemic tropical fruits like pineapple and instead focus on lower sugar options such as berries, green apples, and citrus fruits, which provide nutrients without the dangerous blood sugar spikes. If you absolutely love pineapple and find it difficult to give up completely, here's a practical workaround. Limit your portion to no more than 1/4 cup, and always pair it with a source of protein or healthy fat, such as a handful of walnuts or a serving of plain Greek yogurt, to slow the sugar absorption and reduce the glycemic impact. But honestly, the safest and most effective strategy is to eliminate pineapple from your diet entirely, especially in the evening or before bed, because the risk to your blood sugar control and long-term health far outweighs any nutritional benefit. While pineapple is particularly harmful for seniors with poorly controlled diabetes or those over 65 whose metabolic function has naturally declined, the next fruit on this list is even more insidious, because it's small, convenient, and often eaten mindlessly in large quantities. Yet it delivers a concentrated sugar load that can send your blood sugar into dangerous territory faster than you'd ever imagine. If you're new here and want to join our Health Waiver Prime community, I'd love for you to subscribe so you can stay updated with free, tailored health tips designed specifically for seniors just like you. And if you're already part of our community, drop a comment below letting me know how old you are and how your health has been lately. I read every single comment, and your experiences help shape the content we create together. 2. Grapes. Let me start with a question that might surprise you. Have you ever sat down with a bowl of grapes and finished the entire thing without even realizing it? If so, you're not alone. But here's the problem most seniors with diabetes don't realize or realize far too late. Grapes are one of the most deceptively dangerous fruits for blood sugar control because they're small, sweet, and incredibly easy to overeat. Yet each grape is packed with concentrated natural sugar that floods your bloodstream almost instantly. A single cup of grapes, about 30 individual grapes, contains approximately 23 grams of sugar, which is equivalent to nearly 6 teaspoons of table sugar or the same sugar load as drinking a small can of cola. And because grapes have a glycemic index of 59 and contain very little fiber, protein, or fat to slow digestion, that sugar is absorbed rapidly, causing your blood glucose to spike by 70 to 120 milligrams per deciliter within just 20 to 30 minutes, especially if you're eating them on an empty stomach or late in the evening. Research from Harvard Medical School and the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention has consistently shown that high glycemic fruits like grapes can significantly worsen insulin resistance over time, leading to chronically elevated blood sugar levels, increased inflammation, and accelerated progression of diabetic complications such as neuropathy, retinopathy, and cardiovascular disease. The mechanism is straightforward. When you eat grapes, their high fructose and glucose content enter your bloodstream almost immediately because the fruit's thin skin and soft flesh offer minimal resistance to digestion, and if your pancreas is already struggling to produce sufficient insulin, or if your cells have become resistant to insulin, that excess sugar remains in your blood for hours, silently damaging your organs and tissues. I hear this every single day from people just like you. They tell me they thought grapes were a healthy snack, a better choice than candy or cookies, yet their blood sugar numbers told a completely different story. The truth is, while grapes do contain antioxidants like resveratrol and polyphenol, those benefits are entirely negated by the metabolic harm they cause when you have diabetes, because the sugar load is simply too high and too fast for your body to handle safely. Now, if you've been eating grapes regularly, whether as a snack, in fruit salads, or even frozen as a dessert substitute, here's a practical strategy to help you transition away from them without feeling deprived. Instead of grapes, switch to lower sugar berries like strawberries, raspberries, or blackberries, which contain roughly half the sugar per serving and are packed with fiber that slows glucose absorption, giving you the sweetness and satisfaction you crave without the dangerous blood sugar spike. You can also try pairing a very small portion of grapes, no more than 5 or 6 individual grapes, with a handful of almonds or walnuts to buffer the sugar impact temporarily. But ultimately, the safest approach is to eliminate grapes from your diet entirely, especially in the evening or before bed when your body's ability to regulate glucose is at its weakest. While grapes are harmful for most seniors with diabetes due to their high sugar content and rapid absorption, they're especially dangerous if you're over 60, have insulin resistance, or are struggling to control your fasting glucose levels, because your body simply can't process that much sugar efficiently. But here's what you need to know. As problematic as grapes are, the next fruit on this list is by far the most dangerous and shocking of all, because it's so concentrated in sugar that even a tiny handful can trigger a severe blood sugar spike within just a few hours. Yet it's still widely promoted as a superfood and recommended for energy and health. 1. Dates. Here's the one fruit that catches even long-time diabetics completely off guard: dates. This is the fruit I referenced earlier, the one so dangerously concentrated in natural sugar that even a small handful can trigger a severe blood sugar spike within just a few hours. Yet it's still widely marketed as a healthy superfood, recommended for energy, digestion, and overall wellness. Let me be direct. If you're a senior with diabetes, dates are one of the absolute worst foods you can eat, period. A single medjool date, just one, contains approximately 16 grams of sugar, which is the equivalent of 4 teaspoons of table sugar or roughly the same sugar content as a small chocolate bar. To put this into even sharper perspective, eating just 3 dates delivers nearly 50 grams of sugar, which is more than the total sugar found in a large candy bar, a slice of cake, and a can of soda combined. And here's what makes dates so uniquely dangerous. They have an extremely high glycemic index of 103, which is higher than pure glucose itself, meaning they cause your blood sugar to skyrocket faster and more dramatically than almost any other food, sending glucose levels soaring by 100 to 150 milligrams per deciliter within 30 to 45 minutes, especially when eaten on an empty stomach or late at night. Studies from the American Diabetes Association and the National Institutes of Health have shown that high glycemic foods like dates can cause immediate and prolonged hyperglycemia in people with type 2 diabetes, leading to insulin resistance, increased oxidative stress, and accelerated damage to blood vessels, nerves, and vital organs. The mechanism is simple but devastating. Dates are essentially dried fruit, which means all the water has been removed, leaving behind an extremely concentrated source of fructose and glucose with virtually no fiber, fat, or protein to slow absorption. So when you eat them, that massive sugar load enters your bloodstream almost instantly, overwhelming your pancreas and forcing your body into a state of metabolic chaos. I've walked alongside hundreds of men and women who were shocked to learn that the dates they ate as a natural energy booster or healthy sweetener were the primary reason their blood sugar remained dangerously high, their energy crashed midday, and their A1C levels refused to budge despite every other effort they made. Now, here's the critical timing adjustment I mentioned earlier. If you've been eating dates regularly, especially in the evening or before bed, you need to stop immediately, but I also understand that cutting them out cold turkey without a plan can leave you reaching for even worse options like candy, cookies, or processed snacks. So here's a safer transition strategy. If you absolutely must have something sweet, replace dates with a very small portion of fresh berries, such as 5 or 6 strawberries or a quarter cup of blueberries, paired with a source of healthy fat like a tablespoon of almond butter or a few walnuts to stabilize your blood sugar and prevent cravings. But let me be clear, the ultimate goal is to eliminate dates entirely from your diet, because there is simply no safe way to consume them when you have diabetes. The sugar content is too high, the glycemic index is too extreme, and the metabolic damage is too severe. According to guidelines from Johns Hopkins Medicine and the Mayo Clinic, seniors with diabetes should avoid all dried fruits, including dates, raisins, and figs, because the concentration of sugar and lack of water make them metabolically equivalent to eating candy, and the long-term consequences, including nerve damage, kidney disease, vision loss, and cardiovascular complications, far outweigh any perceived nutritional benefit. While dates are harmful for anyone with diabetes, they're particularly catastrophic if you're over 60, have poorly controlled blood sugar, or are experiencing symptoms of diabetic neuropathy or retinopathy, because your body's ability to recover from these sugar spikes diminishes significantly with age, and every spike accelerates the progression of complications that can rob you of your independence, mobility, and quality of life. So there you have it, 4 fruits that may seem healthy but can seriously spike your blood sugar and sabotage your diabetes management: watermelon, pineapple, grapes, and dates. Each of these fruits has been shown through research to cause rapid glucose spikes, especially in seniors over 60, and eliminating them from your diet can lead to better fasting glucose levels, more stable energy, and long-term protection against diabetic complications. Start by cutting out just one of these fruits this week, and gradually work your way through the list. Small, consistent changes lead to powerful, lasting results. Now I'd love to hear from you. Which fruit on this list surprised you the most? Drop a comment below with your thoughts. And don't forget to subscribe so you never miss our science-backed health tips tailored specifically for seniors like you. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.